Hey guys, this is a Patton ceiling fan. Unlike most of these, this one's actually labeled Patton on the top of it. In the previous video where we're working on the capacitor, you can see the labels a little better. These are kind of a mystery to us because it's almost like no two we've ever seen are alike. It's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm sure there are some that are alike, but very few. I have another one that's very similar to this, but the blades are different, the blade brackets are different, and the canopy is different. And for all I know, the motor housing is too, although it looks the same in my memory. Yeah, then there's just a bunch of different variations: short blades, long blades, different blade tips, cane, different blade arms. Yeah, it just goes on. Rubber flywheel, metal flywheel. Somebody else can probably list all the differences better than I can. This is the first one I've seen with cane, at least that I recall. They do have some similarities with Fasco, the canopy at least. This one has a Newtone flywheel. The motor's from Japan. It's not a Fasco motor, some have Fasco motors. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of them. They're a pretty cheap construction for an American-made fan, but they have a good motor in it. This one has a pull chain that controls both the light and the fan, the way that older Casablancas did, so it was off, fan, light, and then we'll have light and fan. At least that's what we're supposed to be having. Is that what we got here? Yeah, I think it was just... haven't done much to this. In the previous video we confirmed that the capacitor was good. It was giving the symptoms of a bad capacitor, but that's in part because it was disconnected. So with the light and fan here, 0.31, let's that should be both off if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, yep. And then, is that off? Yes. And this should be just fan, 0.2. It's actually very quiet for a metal flywheel fan with no rubber. Okay, let's turn the variable speed a quarter of a turn. Which brings us to 0.45. Blades are kind of warped, so I'm wondering if it's going to wobble. Yep, a little bit. It came with that schoolhouse fitter, not with the schoolhouse globe. That's the same schoolhouse globe that I've been using for the past few videos, just because it's been handy. Let's turn it another quarter of a turn. It's rated at 1.1 amps with no light, 1.5 amps with light, 2.5 amps max, which is kind of interesting. Okay. Another quarter turn takes us all the way. And wouldn't you know it, we're right on point. It's pretty impressive. It's also supposed to be 200 RPM. And if I pull it now, just light. No fan. There are also a lot of other fans in different designs that we assume are Patton because of similarities to this, but they haven't been confirmed. I've got that oak leaf thing in the museum that seems very Patton-y, but there's no guarantee that it's Patton. When I lived in Mississippi, I lived in a huge old house that somebody was allowing me to have a room in, and there had to be 10 or 15 bedrooms in the house, and they all had these. One in my room had one broken blade arm that was replaced with some new cheap blade arms, so it wobbled badly, and it also made a lot of noise. I still used it. I never thought to check to see if the ones in the other bedrooms were the same or not, or if they had variations. And then in the den, there was a bright brass R&M original. Just horseshoe brackets, not reverse air or adapt air. It was on a variable speed control. And it was very much seemed like an old plantation house. So let's start again in low reverse. I'm trying to think of if there are any other fans there. I remember the dozen or so Pattons in the bedroom, and the R&M original in the family room. Kitchen and living room did not have, or parlor I guess they called it, did not have fans. I actually had never even been in the entire house. It was so big, and I only had one room, and then I would be in the kitchen for meals, but I only came in the other rooms infrequently. The couple that owned the house, the pastor and wife, they also had a church, and the church in their new building had no fans, but their old building had a dozen or so white Hunter Originals, 4-blade with the newer brackets. So that's low, reverse. You know what, did I check the amps for low reverse? Let's try again. Oh, it's got the light, that's why it's, yeah. You can just skip all the different settings and go straight to high. Another interesting thing about these is that they used some Fasco parts, the canopies and the motors in some of them, but not all of them. Some of them had GE motors, this one had a Japanese motor, etc., etc., but some of them used Fasco motors, and then Patton later bought Fasco. And then Marley later bought Patton. This does better than I thought it would, given the shape it was in. I assumed it would have bearing problems and would wobble terribly with those warped blades, and in reality, it performs decent. I thought it would be noisy and it's silent, so you never know what you're gonna get. Real quick, while the camera's still rolling, I'm gonna see if my other Patton like that is easily accessible and we can compare. I remember it being over in this section of boxes. Of course they get moved. What's that? Huh, there's a Delta. Didn't even know that was there. I don't see anything that says Patton. I moved it over here when I was rearranging. Well, I guess we won't do that today. I know I saw it recently because it was packed with the Sonica, and the Sonica found a new home. But I must have repacked it, and check the stack of boxes in here too. I'm trying to think of where I would have put it if I was repacking. Nope. Well, it was worth the shot. If I ever get the chance to pull it out, then we can compare. I know it has a different canopy, and I believe the blades and blade arms were different as well. So, Patton. And the box would probably also say Sonica, and then have that crossed out. I'm going to look for a few seconds longer. Oh, well, that'll have to be another time. Thanks for watching.